Welcome to another semi-monthly Haereticus Patron Reward Satanic Essay Reading / Discussion. That's right, today I'm being joined by Aden Ardennes. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
It's nice. Long time.
I know. What was it, like yesterday?
Like literally a few hours ago that we just hung out.
Something like that.
I first of all, I'm so very happy that you agreed to come on here. Otherwise, it would have just been me rattling on about something. But you also opened up an entirely new possibility because we're talking today about, we're going to be having a performance of your essay from your collection. I mean, this is like, I've been really relegated to strictly LaVey and Gilmore works up until this episode. So this is going to be exciting. And because you may not know, and for the sake of those tuning in live, Dallas, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us in the chat, man. These are shows specifically just to dive a little bit deeper. This is the study, not worship side of Satanism here. This is really just for patrons who have the interest, who want to commit well, in this case, it's literally resources in the form of money. But for those of you who want to actually have a conversation about this, or maybe to hear perspectives of others about satanic subjects in the form of essays and having a friendly conversation about it. And this is a very special one because, again, Aden, you are joining me. So we nailed down that we are going to be talking about an essay from your collection because, of course, it made sense. You put out a volume of essays. We might as well tap that resource. But why the essay you chose? Why that one?
Well, one, it was, I'm happy to be here to spare people from you rambling for 30 minutes. But I chose this because, like you said, you've pretty much discussed LaVey and Gilmore. And there's so much, while they are canon, they are the dogma, there's so many other voices in the greater satanic conversation. Not all of them are voices worth discussing, but right. But I'd like to think I'm one of the voices worth talking about, and that's why I'm here to talk about me. Well, the essay.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it is really about you. I mean, that's what's so amazing about all of these is that not only is it written through a lens, but this specific essay is literally about you exercising lesser magic. And so that's going to be a wonderful thing to have a conversation about after we're done. After you're done performing the essay. Do you want to just dive in and read it right now?
Sure. Just remember, I think I wrote this when I was 25. I'm 30. So
5 years old. He's got some dust. His balls are starting to drop.
Yeah, now I can appropriately say dad jokes. Yeah, so
it's gonna be perfect. Perfect.
I didn't have an excuse before. Now I do. So
this is all you, man. Whenever you're ready.
All right. So my Moses joke. Why I'm not funny. How does Moses make tea? He brews it. Ask anyone who knows me. I'm not a funny man. I laugh hysterically at my own jokes, repeat them often, and love the worst and the most corny ones. I noticed that I couldn't make others laugh unless I said something so utterly ridiculous, and found it so utterly hysterical that people suddenly considered me less of a threat. They found me adorable and laughed at the fact that I thought I was funny. And since discovering this, I've used it to my advantage. The look people get on their faces when I tell a bad joke and start laughing before I get to the punchline, if I can ever make it past my incessant laughter to get there, is priceless. They're dumbstruck by my sincere conviction that what I'm saying or about to say is really that funny. It reminds me of the face one makes when looking at someone with an odd passion or interest, like a lover who is obsessed with comic books and will spend hours talking about what the plot could mean for the next issue, or a close friend with an almost scary fixation with beer who will stare at and sniff the glass to the point where he seems to drink its contents through osmosis. Most of the men I've dated said they fell hard for me when they saw how much I love bad jokes because it made me see softer than the stoic image I outwardly presented. I had let them on the inside, and that made them feel special. Your quirks add nuance to your character. They are the subtle spices of your personality that are to be appreciated and are a good test for love, whether it be platonic or romantic. You can liken this to a good lover who knows that right place on your thigh that when kissed sends shivers up your spine, or to a great pal who knows there is only one person to call when he hears a very bad joke. You can use your quirks in an act of lesser magic to obtain a better quality of lover or friend, and as I mentioned earlier, I've used this to my advantage to do just that. But I've also used my terrible sense of humor to finally be funny, and not funny like a comedian who can make people laugh, but like a jester who is laughed at. Growing up, and even now to an extent, I've been called narcissistic, self-absorbed, vain, and arrogant, and to balance out these claims, since they're all true to an extent, I use my love of really awful jokes to make people think that I'm simply silly. I like the idea that the only people who really take me seriously are the ones who are truly paying attention, much like the Riddler whom I idolize, and whom no one thinks a threat until it's too late. I never actually learned to be funny because I love bad jokes, and that is the image I am cultivating. In fact, I think it's one of my greatest feats of magic.
I think that's great. There's so much wrapped up into this that I want to touch on. But first, I want to talk about when you first, like, what was it about bad jokes that attracted you to them initially? Was it just an attempt to be funny genuinely, or you just really liked a sort of sour joke?
No, I really like them. They're just so goddamn stupid. They're just, when I kick back and think about it, my dad loves really bad jokes, and he likes teasing people, and he likes annoying my mother. Mm. And, he would do this thing when I was a kid to my mom that, as much as she hated it, the look on her face was like, oh my God, that's still so stupid and adorable. He would just get up in her and cross his eyes and pucker his lips and go whoosh with his hand. He still does that to me. I'm like, when I fall asleep on the couch, like, Dad, I'm 30, leave me the fuck alone. But I really just love how dumb, they're so simple and so stupid. Yeah. It's adorable. So I don't have to think about it. It's just like, oh, that's not even clever. I like that.
And so clearly there is, I don't know, do you think it takes a better sense of humor in order to appreciate a bad joke?
I'm going to be tooting my own horn here. Here comes the narcissism, It's,
bend over, here it comes.
It's, I think it means that you don't take yourself super seriously, that you can appreciate the stupid things in life. Like a fart joke is not very highbrow, and it's okay to like those things, especially if you're someone who usually pursues intellectual things or intellectual hobbies. It's nice to come back down and even sink lower than the average person, and they're usually afraid to laugh at anything that's stupid. Yeah.
Well, this is something I think is, germane to what we're speaking to here, is so incredibly important about Satanism in and of itself. The Doctor spoke of appreciating sort of slapstick humor and being able to laugh at yourself. He was a big fan of the whoopee cushion, which is one gigantic fart joke. So
that's one of the things that made me fall in love with Satanism was like the founder literally hid whoopee cushions in his fucking house.
Fucked up.
That's like, I can just imagine one moment you're having a serious intellectual conversation with the man, and then the next.
That's breaking ice, not wind. That's a whole nother level of getting to know someone. Because I genuinely believe that you don't actually know someone until you see them genuinely laugh. Then you see their face pull back any veil of pretense or pretext, and you just see who they actually are. And I think in this social media society, people take themselves far too seriously, and it's only those who are able to laugh at themselves or have jokes made in their expense. Am I saying that right? That sounds wrong. At their expense, there it is. That's where you actually find strength of character.
Well, I think it's most people are kind of afraid because they know. They know now you do one wrong thing, say the incorrect thing, that it can spread everywhere. Horns and Magazines suffered for a while because one a few people have a problem with one of my writers, and then next thing I know, it's spread through the internet like wildfire, and I'm glued to my computer trying to battle this.
Really?
Yeah, but it's just one small thing that suddenly it had a following. But that happens if you're even rude at a restaurant. So I can't fault people too much for being kind of worried, but ultimately I agree with you that most people are too afraid to just enjoy something silly and stupid.
Well, you put it down really wonderfully here in the essay, because you say that once you tell this joke, people interpret you by showing that vulnerability of telling a bad joke and enjoying it so much that they're on the inside now. And that, as you put it, is a wonderful lesser magic tool of putting people off guard initially, and then making them immediately afterward feel like they're on the in. Like, that's hugely important to any type of manipulation.
Totally. And I mean, it kind of started where when I was younger, I had long blonde hair, I was very scrawny, and I was easily picked on, but I wasn't, because I was good at manipulating the people who were bigger and stronger than me. So it's like, no, you're not going to fight me, you're going to fight this guy. So, but I cultivated this outward personality of being stoic, of being smarter, of being more clever, to being, you don't want to fuck with me, not because I can kick your ass, but because I can blackmail you and I can get you to do shit. I can get other people to do shit for you. Like, I know all your dirty little secrets. I know what you did at that house party last night. Type of Riddler kind of menacing. Yeah. But then it kind of backfired, so I had to kind of balance it out. Like, no, I'm not that crazy narcissistic asshole. Look, I like silly things too. Yeah. But
so you mentioned that it backfired. Was it something where you genuinely found that this persona that you were putting on was starting to be turned against you?
Yeah, people started thinking I took myself way too seriously. Yeah. That I wasn't able to go out and have fun and just be silly. And I'm like, no, I can. Like, so I don't like roller coasters. But one guy I was dating years ago, he loved roller coasters, and he was looking for me around a theme park we went to, and then he found me with bumper cars, and he was like, I've never seen anybody so competitive over something that children play. So I was like, fucking what's super in Nintendo 64. Wario. I was like fucking Wario in my goddamn bumper car, beating the shit out of children. But
pretty messed up.
Yeah, but he was like that. That was the most adorable thing in the world. It's like, he's like, you were so ridiculous. I'm like, yeah. Well, there we are. Now you know the real Aden. So,
well, let me quickly say hi to Stephanie and Wes. Thank you guys for joining us in the chat. It's always great to see you too. For the chat room, for those of you watching, what is it that you like to present as a way of catching people off guard? Is it a stupid joke? Is it, intentionally creating an accident in order to make yourself look more vulnerable? Or is it just a personality trait? Like, what is it that you like to use in order to do the same thing that Aden is speaking to here? So, Aden, are there other things that you tried and you just sort of landed on the bad joke in order to let people on the inside, once you realized that you needed to somehow show some form of vulnerability?
No, I wish I could say it was that pre-planned. I really do like dad jokes and bad jokes. I really do like them. Ask anybody who knows me. They can't. I send them stupid memes, the puns where the dog, the Siberian Husky, is like... And I send them to Darren Diaside all day long. I'm pretty sure he blocks my number once a week. So, I'd send them to Peter and Peggy if I were afraid that I'd be, excommunicated. But it was like, okay, we discussed this on the episode the other night, where I think that emotions are weaknesses. So. If you're going to show your belly to someone, make sure that it's someone that you're fairly certain is not going to betray you. So I present this cold, stoic image, and then I balance it out once I'm comfortable with someone. Like, no, see, I'm silly too, but you're not going to get to know that side of me because you're not over here. Yeah. So that, and it also presents that, oh, you're dynamic. You're not just this one thing, because here's something that comes out of complete left field, and I never would have expected that. Except for, now that the cat's out of the bag. Thanks, Adam. Now I have to think of something else.
Don't! Hey, I didn't write the essay. You did. Dallas says in the chat room, he likes being very polite in order to catch people off guard. I think that's interesting. It's a sad state of a society that that's the thing that catches people off guard, I think. But
yeah, it is. And most people, I mean, maybe I've been in New York too long. I think, people are kind of like, what the fuck do you want? You're being so goddamn nuts.
Jeez.
Start checking their pockets. Like, is this son of a bitch distracting?
He's playing me. There's something else going on.
But I wonder why it's polite that catches people off guard, unless he looks intimidating. Like, if you were to look at this person, they'd say, oh no, that person's going to be an ass, or that person's going to be mean or too dominant, and then they're the perfect gentleman. So,
well, I mean, as we're
visually intimidating, but if you watch his old interviews or in the first documentary about him in the church, it was all the women were like, oh my God, no, he's a perfect gentleman. He's so sweet. And you look at him like, no, that man's fucking terrifying. Like,
that is true, though. Like, his visage is very it drew emotion out of you immediately. You're like, wow, this is a dude that will kill you. Like, he will stab you in the face. Wes is saying he likes to make people laugh, which is the opposite of his work persona of uber serious prick. That's a terrible work persona. This is what I love. Well, and the other side of this, I think, is that the assumption that all Satanists, are completely collected at all times, and they present this manufactured, manicured version of themselves using lesser magic at all times, and so you're never really sure who it is you're actually speaking to or not. It's nice to be able to see that veil pulled back from time to time, even if that veil being pulled back is the manufactured part of it. And the fact that you never really know. But it's when they're just too overtly serious all the time that I think that shows weakness more than anything else. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's, where's it going to go with that? There's, even when I was younger and I saw so many Satanists, but I think it was at the tail end of the Satanic Panic when I first started coming across Satanism. It was party line, closed ranks for good reason, but everybody was super ethereal.
Yeah.
Everyone had to take them super ethereal. I go, that's just silly.
Yeah.
And anybody who says, what was the thing you brought up about manipulation? You never get to know the real person. Well, right. There we go. My criticism to that is, well, you could say that about anybody. The difference between us and the majority of others is we just don't bullshit about it. When I meet you, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm completely manipulative. If you want, I can say the word charming. It ultimately says the same thing. Yeah. But I'm terribly manipulative. I enjoy it. It's like football to me. But at least you know that. I mean, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help for you to know that I'm manipulative.
That's the other side of it that I think is so interesting is that. Okay, so I want to pull this around to greater magic before we get back to lesser magic. But the doctor was a staunch believer that it was better if your greater magic target didn't believe in greater magic being able to hurt you, because then they wouldn't practice whatever defense mechanism was there. They just would believe every little stumble or every stub of a toe or whatever fault came in their way. They would start to subconsciously attribute it to the curse, and so they would start to believe it out of disbelief rather than abject belief that it could happen, and so you do what you can to avoid it. In the same way, to bring it back around to the lesser magic of awareness, if you are aware of it, it doesn't help you any, to your point of what you're saying. It's like walking into open waters with your eyes open. I know there's a shark out there, so I'm going to be a little more wary. But the truth is, if it wants me, it's going to take me. So, I don't know. It's the difference between awareness and ignorance. Like, is it better to know that there's a shark or not to know? I don't know. But either way, lesser magic's going to come out on top.
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah, I was going to say with your comment about greater magic, LeVay only applied that to curses. When it came to compassion, it helped.
Right.
If someone believed in witchcraft. But with the reason with lesser magic and manipulation, the reason why I don't give a shit if they know that I'm manipulative or not, is because, I mean, just because you know that I'm going to press buttons does not mean the buttons can no longer be pressed. There is this wonderful little threat LeVay gave at the end of the Satanic Witch. Is there no protection against witchcraft? I mean, you can stop sleeping, stop daydreaming, stop wanting things. And he goes on this ridiculous list. Yeah. All of these things you can stop doing. And then he's like, and then maybe you'll be safe from witchcraft. But witchcraft is built on human nature. So if you're human, sucks to be you, it's going to work. When I read that for the first time, I was like, I have an erection. I like this. I feel so powerful and coy all at the same time. But that's my point with manipulation, is even if I tell you that, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know what buttons to push. And I know you're going to tell me what buttons to push, because if there's one thing that most people love to do is to tell you exactly who they are, what they're afraid of, and what you can do to get what you want of them, because everybody just desperately wants to be heard. Not even listened to, just heard. Which is probably why so often in conversation, if you're watching people, it looks like they're just shouting information at each other and waiting for their turn to talk. They're not exchanging anything. Everybody just wants to be listened to. So the trick for me in manipulation or lesser magic is, no, I'm going to hear you shouting at me, and I'm going to kind of put that in my little Excel sheet for later, too.
I'm taking notes, motherfucker.
What do you think my book was? It was nothing but notes of watching.
Yeah. Well, I do want to suggest everyone, if you haven't yet picked up a copy, I mean, it's available still through publishing, right?
I think I removed everything because I'm working on.
Shit.
Yeah, I've developed it a little bit. I'm working on something else.
Okay. All right.
So if you have your copy, keep it.
Yeah. Well, I did notice that Amazon had a link for it. So if it is available, it's only because they pre-published X amount before you cut it off. So it is going to be a rarity. So if you can get your hand on it, I suggest you do.
Royalty checks.
What's that?
I still get royalty checks. I have no idea where they're coming from. So I'm like, oh, money. Okay.
You're like, yeah, thanks. That's great. It's all gravy.
I spell words.
Yeah.
Money just magically appeared. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
Thank you, Satan.
I do highly recommend it. Not just because I helped format it, like in the form of the naked dude on the front.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
It is weird, like in this screen right here. I'm like, oh shit, that's me right there. Right next to you, naked. That's because I remember that photo shoot. I was like, oh gosh, how embarrassing.
I love that I have naked you all over my phone. I really do. I think I'll get a blow up of the cover and hang it somewhere. Maybe right next to Frankenfurter.
I would be honored if that were the case. I think that's sexy as hell. I'm down with that. Unabashedly, I love Frankenfurter. But I don't know if it's so much Frankenfurter or if it's Tim Curry. Like one of the two of them, or maybe the amalgamation of them together, it does it for me.
They're inseparable.
They're
inseparable.
No, I went to a drag queen show which did a performance of How Would You Do I? Yeah, that you so beautifully performed, which I thought was just an amazing video. But it wasn't the same. Like it's Tim Curry that put it where it needed to be for me. So yeah, it's just not the same with anyone else. But it's a fantastic collection, wonderful essay, but you do have a lot of other projects in the work. I'm under the understanding that you paused Horns Magazine for a little bit, but it is coming back. Is that correct?
Yeah, I had to pause it this year. I I needed to re-examine what I was doing.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? I'll take the year off and see what I can fiddle around with. And then I was, a while ago, I was rereading Militant Eroticism, and I'm like, I see a lot of ideas in here that I firmly believed when I was 25 that are now more mature.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Satanism out of it, and I'm developing the more base ideas in there.
Well, this is what I love about that, because you can make an argument that you can't actually take it. You're going to take the overt references of Satanism out of it, but the underlying core is always there.
The reason why I wrote 2 essays specifically about Satanism at the end was because when I was growing up, the only thing about young people interested in the Church of Satan was the youth communique. There was never any essay, never any interview with anybody in their 20s.
Yeah.
And I can understand why. So I was like, well, I have an ego. I want to be the first. So I was.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
And I wanted to write an essay about being surrounded by the people that I had listened to when I was a teenager, like, Magister David Harris, meeting Marilyn Mansfield, meeting Peter, meeting Peggy, and all these people before I joined the church, even though I was already practicing. I wanted to write an essay about how kind of shitty I felt being 23 and 24, surrounded by all these people that I've been listening to since I was 15 years old. Mm-hmm. And we know that a lot of the chat rooms, there's a lot of dicks in there.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of assholes. And some of them are still there, and I'm like, I remember when I was young and you were a shit ass to me. Which is part of the reason why I keep my rank secret now, because it's kind of like, no, if you're going to be a dick, stay a fucking dick. Don't change your tune just because someone above me gave me a certificate.
Yeah.
So, Anyway, I went off on a few tangents there. But it's kind of like they serve their purpose. They're in their first book. But I like talking about sex and relationships and sexual behavior, and that's what I want the book to be about. So, when I want to talk about Satanism or write about Satanism, I know where to publish those essays. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I want to write a book about Satanism, then I will.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally respect that. And I actually had a conversation with Magister Rose about his collection.
Infernalia, right?
Yeah. And he said straight up, he was like, look, I get comments all the time about these essays that I wrote years ago that I don't even believe in anymore. Like, I don't believe what I wrote. I've completely changed my perspective. And so this is a common occurrence. And this is, I think, what is so fantastic about Satanism in general is it encourages questioning all things, which opens you up to the possibilities that your opinions are going to change and grow. They're going to evolve. And, maybe not always in a positive way, because I've seen some opinions in some individuals like sour, like for no reason. But, and, that's them. That let them be, be their own Satanist. I'm fine with that. But to the point of growth, every individual Satanist needs to go in their own, this sounds really fucking hippy-dippy, they need to go on their own journey. And they're going to end up where they end up. And that's what's so great about Satanism, is that it's not this lockstep, everyone believes the exact same thing, even when it comes to fundamental ideas about Satanism, how they perceive them. Yes, we all agree with the tenets of Satanism, but the way that we perceive them, the way that we use them in our lives are very different. And that's the strength of it. So,
well, that's why I like the way a mutual friend of ours puts it, Satanism is a praxis. Mm-hmm. So there is no communal path. It's, Satanism is, and then you fill in the blank, because Satanism has to be applied to someone and then applied to how they want to use it. So I've used Satanism to publish a magazine and publish a book and be a writer and do whatever other shit I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And you've used it to be, married with children and like...
You say it with such venom. Married with children.
There's a reason why Al Bundy was a sad man, Adam.
He's still a hero of mine.
I don't blame you. He was a great man. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that show could never be on TV today.
Thing is it holds up. Like, it's on Hulu, and I've been watching it, and it holds. It's still good. I still love it.
No, it's great. It's that show will never die. But they couldn't make something like that today.
Oh yeah, no fucking
Roseanne
way.
couldn't even survive.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, not at all. Dallas is saying to hit him up on Facebook. He would love to interview you for his site, Walk on the Third Side. I would say, Dallas, the onus is on you. You need to reach out to him. Where can he find you on Facebook or anywhere else online?
Facebook at Aden Ardennes.
All right, there you go.
I'm pretty responsive, and if message me, I'll take a look, and either it's a yay or a nay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Aden. It's always such fun to have a conversation with you, and certainly about your essays and your perspectives. I really do appreciate it, and I think we've all, been able to have a wonderful conversation around it. So, thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, no problem. Can I say one more bad joke?
Yeah.
All right. This one. This one, when I first read it, I was in the car with a friend, and I was laughing to the point of tears. And I could barely finish it, but he pulled over the car and he threatened to kill me. So, especially when I finally told it to him. So, I finally figured out who's been putting soil in my garden bed. The plot thickens.
Oh, what the fuck? What? I feel like I gotta think about this for a minute.
The plot thickens.
Yeah.
Because, the more soil is applied.
The plot of soil. It thickens. There's more soil coming in. Oh, boy. Okay. I'm connecting with the guy that threatened you. I feel like.
That is one of the best jokes I have ever heard in my life.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, we're going to end it on that. Thank you all for joining me, and thank you for becoming patrons and for supporting this show, bad jokes and all. I genuinely appreciate it. Check out Aden Ardennes. He's online. He's on social media. Look up his name. You're going to find him. Check out Militant Eroticism if you can find it. And until we can speak of the devil again, hail Satan.
Hail Satan.